Elliot here from Movie Files, sharing my spoiler-free review with you all on the film Mid90s. Now, this film marks the directorial debut by Jonah Hill. And in this review, guys, I'm just going to touch on the positives and negatives, talk a little bit about the story, the performances, the directorial debut of Jonah Hill, and then let you know what I thought of the film, if it's worth checking out, and give you guys a score at the end of this review. So before I get into all of that, I want to welcome all those who are new to Movie Files, clicking on this video. Thank you, number one. But then number two, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of our latest movie reviews, trailer reactions, TV reviews, as well as unboxing videos. So definitely do us a favor and subscribe to Movie Files. So now, with that out of the way, without giving too much away, again, spoiler-free zone here, guys. As far as the story goes, if you're not too familiar, I'm going to leave the trailer in the description below so you can check it out if you haven't already. But anyway, this movie follows Stevie, a 13-year-old, and the movie takes place in the 90s in LA, and we're watching Stevie kind of navigate his life between his troubled home, the things that go on in his house, and then him interacting with this new group of teenagers who they bond over skating. So with that, just kind of pinpointing off of the storylines, guys, without giving away too much of the plot per se, there were a lot of things that I took away from this film. Number one, the idea of people finding a family outside of their blood. You know, again, Stevie has a really troubled, some stuff going on at home that would be very disturbing for a lot of people and just kind of be very unsettling, the things you see that takes place at home. But he's able to find these group of different diverse group of skaters in different age groups. I believe the youngest probably was maybe 14, 15, the oldest being like 17, 18, and they all have different backgrounds, all different ethnicity groups, and he's able to bond with this crew of skaters, and it was just really cool to see because we can all relate to that. You know, me with movies, we go to a movie theater and there's so many different, there's men, women, children, different races there, and we can all just sit there and either really love a movie or really hate a movie. But it's just crazy the things that we're able to bond over and just take away all the other stuff, the stereotypes, and just really bond over something that we all love. So I thought that was really cool. Again, kind of touching off of that, you know, the genuine connection that the crew gets over the story and kind of over this hour and 24 minutes of time. You know, it's just really well done the way that the story kind of crafts. They put the pieces together and how all these characters are able to relate to each other, which I thought was just great. It was a really good coming-of-age story. We got some really good ones in the last. I mean, we've had coming-of-age stories forever, but, you know, I'm just thinking of Lady Bird and Call Me By Your Name and 8th Grade and all these movies with these young actors just really doing a great job. And I thought this was another one as far as a coming-of-age story that deserves praise and some acknowledgement there. As far as this, you know, relating to that, we all have that one summer that things are just crazy. And this film was rated R, guys, and there's some moments where the rated R is due to the language, some language that was said during the 90s. It might not have been the most appropriate terminologies used back then, but it was the times. But the rated R comes with, you know, there are moments where Stevie's having fun and in the summer and hanging out with his friends, and you know, you talk differently when you're around at that age of 13. Even now, you talk differently around your friends, you do your parents. But the rated R comes in at moments that were a little unsettling and uncomfortable to watch. But again, that's just due to the fact that Jonah Hill just wanted to bring a raw emotion and some real life to the screen. I thought that was done well. And then again, just being able to find something to relate to in the story, regardless of skating, you know, because this film does a really good job of, you know, it's about skating, but it doesn't like beat you over the head and just go into this skate story. It's just something that they love to do and happens to be something that during the 90s was very big. I wasn't really a skater, but I was a beast at Tony Hawk. You know, check me in that game. Anyway, you can find something in the story that relates to, and I just thought that Jonah Hill and the writers, you know, he wrote this film as well. This did a really good job. He's bringing just a really enjoyable, entertaining story. Would it needed to be funny? Again, Jonah Hill's known for his comedy. It was funny, but it was a drama too, and it landed really well. I really enjoyed the balancing act that Jonah Hill did in this film. Now, kind of jumping into the actual performances. The entire cast was great. There were some standouts that I'm going to get to, but I don't want to leave out. Lucas Hedges is a phenomenal actor. Him and Timothée Chalamet and a lot of up-and-coming actors are great, but them two to me just really stand out right now in this generation. Lucas Hedges this is a chameleon in roles. He does a great job as the older brother in this film. Katherine, Waterston, who I'm a big fan of from not Beasts of No Nation, but Fantastic Beasts, Alien Covenant, and some other projects. She's really great as the mom in this movie. And then the cast, the crew that we see of these skaters were really great. I don't believe a lot of them are seasoned veterans in acting, and you couldn't tell because they were just great across the board. But definitely the two standouts for me were, number one, Sonny Suljic, who I remember seeing in The Secret Killing of a Deer, which he was great in that movie. But in this film, this kid, who's 13 by the way, just does a great job of just bringing emotion, comedy. I mean, Stevie was the man. I love his character in this film. Just watching the emotional range of this young actor. Again, when he needed to be funny, it was funny at times. But again, the dramatic moments were just... Stevie's great, and as the character, he's great. But this actor, Sonny Suljic, I cannot wait to see more of his work. The kid is awesome, but really, and it's his story. But I mean, I tell you, this kid, Na-kel Smith, who's actually a professional skater, you could tell in this movie he's a badass when it comes to skating. He's done some really awesome stuff. Again, I'm not a skater, but I played some Tony Hawk, so I know some tricks and some moves when I see him. And I mean, he's great as Ray in this film, as kind of the leader of the group. And again, I don't believe he has a lot of acting credits under his name, but you couldn't tell by this film. He was great as Ray. And again, just the cast and the performances were raw, were real, were emotional. These were real characters in a movie that you can just... It was just great. I mean, the performances, I can't say anything else, were just great performances. Now touching a little bit on Jonah Hill. I'm a big fan of his work, from his cameo from The 40-Year-Old Virgin to his big breakout in Superbad, and then watching him grow into this dramatic actor in Moneyball and Wolf of Wall Street. And now, I mean, I watched an interview of his, and he even mentioned, I mean, working with Martin Scorsese and just so many great directors, and Judd Apatow and the comedy. I mean, you can... I'm not saying this is a Martin Scorsese film, but you can tell that he paid attention to those directors and brought his emotion to this film. And I really appreciate what Jonah Hill brought to this movie. Again, just from the little details, from shooting, the 4:3 ratio, the idea that, yes, it is a 90s film, but he didn't over nostalgize, I don't even know that word, but he didn't bring in so many references where it's just like, oh, it's that 90s movie. It was in the 90s, but you can just, the way he blended in everything with the soundtrack of hip hop and just the times, and just, he didn't beat you over head over the 90s nostalgia or even the skating aspect. It was just genuinely just raw, and it was just done well. I thought that Jonah Hill just did a phenomenal job in that aspect. Again, I saw that he did an interview. This was 4 years of his life, and you can see that on the big screen. And I'll put him up there as far as those actors turned directors. I'll put him in the same conversation as recently, with Bradley Cooper as A Star Is Born, Bo Burnham with 8th Grade, Jordan Peele last year with Get Out, and so many. I mean, throughout the years, we've heard directors or great actors turned directors do a great job, and Jonah Hill put him right in that category because he did great in his directorial debut, and I can't wait to see more. So, jumping into the negatives, I'm not gonna lie. There's not a lot of them. A lot of the stuff I want to mention here is just kind of nitpicking. Like, the ending was a little abrupt. It's not a traditional narrative where it's like a beginning, middle, end. We're just watching kind of the summer, just watching this kid's summer, Stevie's summer. And I would say there were some little bit of acting moments that were just minor, not big, didn't take me out of the film. And then, as far as just a little bit more character development. But again, guys, those are just nitpicking things. This film was damn near perfect in my eyes. I'm giving this film a 4.5 out of 5. I recommend you checking it out. I believe it came out to a wider audience this past Friday the 19th. But if it is at this Friday, this coming up, if it's at your local theater, guys, I recommend checking it out. If you can't check it out, definitely rent it, stream it when it's available. This is a really enjoyable film. When it needed to be funny, it was funny because Jonah Hill, we all know him as the funny guy, but it really has a lot of great emotional moments as well. Great performance, great engaging, entertaining story. By the end of this film, by the time of the credits end, it was very believable. You felt like you knew these kids, and you felt like you wanted to be part of their crew. It was just a really well done story. So with that, guys, I recommend checking out Mid90s. If you enjoyed this review, hit the thumbs up. Comment below once you've seen the movie. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought of it. And then just a little fun comment. Let me know, what was that summer like for you? That one summer that we all have where this thing was just crazy. We always remember it. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, guys, check out our other content. Just did a review for Halloween, non-spoiler. Did a review for The House, The Haunting of the Hill House as well. So check that out. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.